Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you for being with me again today. No, today is not going to be the reading class, but I will use this book to make a point that probably was forgotten in our civilization. Um, that is the point of democracy and appointment of people best suited for the job based on their abilities and not for certain characteristics as height, weight, race, or age, things like this. So, in the American mass media lately, or at least today and yesterday, there were some articles talking about the highest amount of black White House staff leaving the White House. And as you know, President Biden appointed um, for instance, Kamala Harris and the newest Supreme Court judge were picked because of two characteristics, mainly one because they were female and the other one because they were not white, basically black considered by whomever standards. And I personally, when I go to have a surgery, I don't care the race or how many children the surgeon has. I care how good the surgeon is. I don't care if the surgeon is a midget or, my bad, a a little person, or is fat or has three mistresses or something like that. I do not care if he has I don't know, one child or he's a homosexual or he's a transgender or whatever. I do not care. The only thing I care is that that person is able to do his job the best, right? Well, it seems like nowadays this idea of appointing people on a certain position um, is mainly based on other characteristics than the job performance, and that's very concerning. And I will use, for instance, Plato, who wrote this book, The Republic. Well, it's not written by him, but you know what I mean. It's attributed to him. And in chapter number 6 of The Republic by Plato, he uses Socrates as the main protagonist of this book, if you want to call it this way. And in chapter number 6, we have Socrates debating, discussing an issue of democracy with a gentleman called Adeimantus. So Socrates was not and therefore Plato was not a fan of democracy, which stated that any person can vote regardless of their ability, mental ability or knowledge, can vote for someone or for something that they don't have any knowledge of or any information on. It's just because they are allowed to vote, they can vote. And in this case, let's put Socrates talks with this gentleman Adeimantus about a ship sailing on stormy weather, and Socrates asked, who would you think the person best to maneuver to pilot the ship should be? Should be a person who is able to do it, who's trained to be the captain of the ship to pilot through such weather, or should be determined by passengers who have no knowledge of piloting or being, maneuvering a boat or anything about how a boat is maneuvered. Do you think that should be voted by these people that have no knowledge of how a boat, a ship, is shipped, is maneuvered, or you would appoint, or you have the person who has the most ability, who has the training? And obviously, the other guy says, "Well, I would obviously have the person who has the training. I would appoint to take us out of this storm and get us to safety. I will not have the passengers vote on who." is the most handsome, or persuades people that he should be appointed because he is the best without the qualification. So that's why, for instance, Socrates, in what, 2,500 years ago, let's put it roughly, was kind of against the mass democracy and the idea that any biped should be given the right to vote without being informed on the issue, without knowing anything about the issue. Obviously, the passengers will vote as a popularity contest for the person who would best persuade the people to vote for him to be the leader, to be the captain. Now imagine that you go to the captain and the captain promises you that's going to give you candy, and the other one's going to say, no, I'm going to put you to work. Who would you vote? People tend to vote for the person who gives them goodies, not hardship. So that's why when you hear, for instance, in an administration like um, Prime Minister Trudeau of Canada, who bragged that his main criteria for hiring and appointing ministries and his cabinet was diversity and female, and diversity meaning for him not diversity of thought but diversity of um, gender or ethnicity or sex or sexual orientation. That was were thoughts. And the same with President Biden said the same thing, that he would appoint, for instance, for his vice president will be definitely a black woman. That was the first qualification needed to be the vice president. Not the best, it was not his idea that, okay, I will appoint the best person who knows everything. No, there was not. It was on the fifth place on the list. The first one was that. The same with the person, as I said, that was put forth to be voted to be the newest justice in the Supreme Court justice in the United States. The main qualification, the first qualification that the person has to have was to be a black woman. And then the rest, qualification, good, bad, anything else was on the third, fifth. But now I feel very uncomfortable with this method of assigning and appointing people on the job, not on the qualification and abilities, but mainly on other things that they are not in control of, which is your race, let's put it, or your age, or your sex, let's put it that way. You're not in control of that, even though now there are some thoughts about certain things, and I'm not going to discuss that here. So that's one of the reasons why I think democracy, mass democracy without an informed um, public would yield bad results. And when you see these trends in the highest level of the country, I think that this would also yield inefficiency. Not only inefficiency, but there will be people who will not be vetted based on their abilities to do the job, to maneuver through the storm, the ship, but based on their popularity or the trends or the fad of current, societal pushed um, fads, which is, we have to do this for this reason, not because of the ability. Imagine that I go to get hired for a job and they would hire me just because I'm a Romanian, regardless of how good or bad I perform on the job. Now, how confident would you would be with that? Or let's say all the dentists in the United States will be all, I don't know, Romanians, because Romanians were victimized sometime, and for whatever reason, the connections that Romanians will be all dentists. Then I would be dentist without the qualification needed. My main qualification would be that I was born in Romania. Will you be confident? Would you feel confident coming and having me work on your little denture over there? I think not. You would be more interested in my abilities, not on my country of origin, my race, my age, my weight, my height, my sexual preference, and so on. So this is just a little critique of how certain important positions, very important, at the top of this country, are uh, are taken by other measures or criteria than ability to do the job. And the same thing is with, let's say, the presidents that are voted here. How do you know that person is capable, is a good captain? Based on what? On his political past? You have to know things in order to, but see, the society nowadays is a popularity contest. That's how you get elected, not by what you can do and prove that you did that. So the results cannot be positive, good results. They can be only ineffective and unfortunately could end in disaster. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.